I'm going to be making up some smoky, delicious, and savory oxtails. Stay tuned. Get started on these smoked oxtails. Let's start with our slather. I've got 1 tablespoon of salt, 2 tablespoons of black pepper, 1 tablespoon of garlic, 1 tablespoon of onion powder, 1 tablespoon of paprika, half a tablespoon of cumin, and a pinch of oregano. To this, I'm going to add some olive oil, probably a cup of olive oil. Give that a good mix. All right, check that out. Beautiful color. So this is the oxtail right here. They just come in here and obviously cut it down into some smaller portions. Now these bigger portions do have quite a bit of fat. And I know some of you guys are going to be like, well, leave it on. No, I'm going to take some of it off. Some of it, not all of it. This is nothing but fat. You don't want that. All right, so I've got my slather right here that we made up earlier. All I'm going to do is dip the oxtails in there. Turn them around. Make sure they all get some of that rub and olive oil. Check that out. Beautiful color already. Got my Yoder Y640 pellet smoker warming up outside at 250 degrees. We'll see you guys outside. Load up our oxtails. Check out that beautiful color of that slather. Absolutely gorgeous. Alright, so I'm going to smoke these oxtails at 250 degrees for 2 hours. I'll bring you guys back in a bit. 2 hours into our cook, let's take a look at our oxtails. As you can see, we have a really nice color starting to develop on these oxtails. Just going to take some of my slather that I made up earlier and brush some on the top, the sides, get it all over these delicious smelling oxtails. Alright, so I'm going to flip these. I'm going to season the bottom side. Alright, so I'm going to shut the lid down, give this about another hour, again 250 degrees. I'll bring you guys back in a bit. The total cook time on the oxtails has been 3 hours. Now we're going to get ready for the next step. We've got some olive oil. Got some red bell peppers, some green bell peppers, and half an onion. Now we're not trying to cook these, we're just going to make them translucent. So I'm adding a little bit of black pepper to this. And just a small pinch of salt. Ooh, this is smelling really good. I've got about 6 of these little Thai peppers. Just going to throw that in there for some spice. I'm going to add some red wine. And I'm also adding some beef broth. Probably a cup and a half of each. Alright, I'm going to let this come up to a low boil. Meanwhile, I'm going to go grab the oxtails. Stay tuned. The vegetables are coming to a light boil. I pulled my oxtails out of my smoker. Check out that awesome looking color. So I'm just going to grab these oxtails, place them inside my Dutch oven. Cranked up the temperature on my smoker to 275 degrees. I'm going to pop the lid on this, throw this back inside my smoker for 2 hours, and I'll bring you guys back at that point. Stay tuned. Oxtails are ready, and the total cook time was right at 5 hours. And let's take a look at it. This is the first time I open the lid. Check that out. Really nice and tender. They look tender anyway. Let's see. Oh yeah, they are coming apart. Alright, so now we're left with this really nice broth right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to strain it and separate the juice from the fat. Alright, so I'm going to fix myself a plate of these oxtails, but first I want to give them a try just as is and see how the flavor is. But check it out, it is super tender. Again, the texture reminds me a lot of a beef cheek. Let's give these smoked oxtails a try and see how we did. Check out that beautiful color. It smells delicious. Here we go. These smoked oxtails are so full of flavor, extremely savory, and the texture reminds me a lot of a beef cheek. It's got that gelatinous flavor to it. These are fantastic. Alright, let me show you how I'm going to fix up a plate of these delicious smoked oxtails. Got some jasmine rice right here. I'm just going to dump some of this on this plate. Alright, going to add my smoked beef oxtails onto our plate. Alright, so I've got my fat separator right here. we're going to pour some of this wonderful juice over our oxtails. Oh yes. We're going to finish this off with some green onions. Check that out. Let's give that a taste. Look at that, it's just coming apart. I'm gonna eat this with a spoon. There we go. All right, let's get ready for this big bite. Check that out. Spoonful. Here we go. Super delicious is all I can say. I can't get over how delicious these smoked oxtails are. You know, they pair extremely well with that jasmine rice and that beef broth that we poured over the top with the green onions. That is money.